So I just noticed that I wasn't recording before. Sorry about that. So so you have these tables. So what we are doing today is what we call database design. So how do you design a database? So you have the tables. How do you connect them together? So you have employees. Employees is going to be related to department. Then you can I think that should be all employees and department. Now, employee is going to have what we call these details. First of all, employee is going to have all these details because employee ID, last name, and the likes of that. Now, the reason is that now why we have department ID is that because in the next future you might want to get the department that an employee will fall into. So that's why you have department ID here, so that you can call the department name of the employee from the department table. So department table is going to have department ID and department name. So let's just leave it to that. We have it here. So it means this tool is settled because you are able to link the employees table to the department table. Now let's talk about a customer now. A customer. So customer table. I have a customer table which is going to have all this information. The customer ID first of all. Now we have this. How are you feeling today? So you might need the first name of your customer and the last name, the address of your customer, the city, you might need the postal code and the country. So in this case, customer table is standalone. Standalone. It's standalone. It can stand alone. Might not really reference. No need to reference customer table. But then, so now after you have your customer table now, customer comes to your store, get something or order something. Let's say he's gonna order. So customer order for a product. Now for each order, you are going to have details of the order. So you might want to have what we call the orders table. So in your orders table, in the orders table, you have what we call order ID. What we call order ID. Now, if your customer should make an order, you'll be interested in what customer made the order. Now you don't need since you already have the customer's table. You don't need to have the customer's name on the orders table. So you just have to put customer ID here. You don't need to put the customer's name here. You don't need to put the customer's name here, just put the customer ID so that if you necessarily need the customer's details, you can just link it to the customer's table. So you have customer ID here. Then what would you like to have in the orders table again? Then you might necessarily need which the employee, you might need the employee that attended to the order. So I need the employee's information that attended to that person's order. So you have employee ID. Now you have to use the ID. You don't need to use employee's information. So it's the ID you use to link up to all those other tables. So you link them up the ID. So that's why you have the ID in every table. Now, you already have you can get the employee's detail that attended to that order. So you also will need what date this person placed the order. So you might need the order date. Then So you can also need shipper ID. I need the shipper ID to be here. I need the shipper ID to be here. So which might necessarily need the maybe the courier service that ships the order to the customer's location. So you might need the shipper ID to be here also. Shipper ID. Then now in this orders table, you might not want to congest it with so much information, because I can actually put what we call the products that the person ordered, the supplier, maybe the supplier of the product and the next one, or the quantity of the products that the person ordered, maybe is 12 parts. So you might not need to congest this orders table with so much information. Then you might now want to have what we call another table called order details. So this is where details of each order will be stored. So you have another ID called order detail ID. Then in here you have your order ID also, because you have to link it with the order the person made. And the product the person ordered. Now here you don't need to put the product name, because you are going to have another table called the products table, where you have all your products, information about all the products there. You have product ID here, so that you might necessarily want to get the kind of product the person got. Then you can have okay, the quantity, yes, the quantity of the product ordered. You can have the information here, so you can put in brackets maybe units here. So this is sorted. Now after this, you can now have the product table. So in here, you are going to have the product ID, product name. You have the product name, then the supplier ID. Now you don't need to put the supplier name here, just the ID of the supplier. You can have another table for the supplier's details, the supplier ID. Okay, which category this product fall into? You have what you call category ID. Okay, now in the product table, you might need to have the total number of units of those products available in your store. So let's put units here. Then you put the price. Now this price is per unit. Okay. Then after this, you can have what we call the shipper's ID, shipper's details. We call it the shipper's table. So in shipper's table, you have the shipper ID. Then you can have the shipper name. Then you can have the phone number of the shipper if it's something that is a constant key, like courier service like GoCarda, whereby it's until you order for the courier service, then you can get the phone number of the rider. But in this case, if it's something that is constant, you can put the phone number of the shipper here. So if you already have a constant courier service that is shipping the orders for you. So this is the information about the shippers. Then you have the suppliers now. Who are supplying your products? You have the supplier details here. So first of all, your supplier ID, then supplier name. You can say contact me. So this person can be the person you can come in contact with whenever you need the product. You might not be able to have contact with the supplier. First, let's check this supplier. So you can see this supplier name is the contact name. So you might need the address, city, postal code, and the likes of that. Postal code and country states. Let's see. So you can see how you create database. You have to be systematic about how you create your database, because you won't want to have issue while creating this. So first of all, let me go to I think I have to use. So you might want to draw a relationship within this table using, you can just do a freehand sketch of these things. So first of all, you can see customers table. You can link customers with orders. You can link orders with other details. You can link. So we don't have the last thing, you don't have categories now. Categories. You don't have the category table. So in category table, we have category ID for each category of the product. Then category name. Then description. What kind of products does this category carry? So I have this. So other details is linked with others. This is linked to product. Product is linked with shipper and supplier and category. I get it. So let's say, for example, I ordered for a product and I ordered for a product and I'm a customer that order for a product. I can get the number of orders I've made so far, the date, the last time I made an order, and the likes of that. So it's very important the way you design your database. So this is one way. This is one way. Now, after you've done this, you would also like to do a sketch of your database. So let me see. Let me use. No. Let me see whether I can use whiteboard marker. So okay. So okay, let me. So let's say, for example, so let me just use this. Okay. So let me see, for example, this database we have customers. I think this is going to take very long time to do this. So so that's one way. Now I also talked about reverse engineer in MySQL. So here you can see the structure of your database. So let's say I want to see the structure of the SQL invoicing database. I can just use a shortcut or come to database, then click on reverse engineer. Or you can use Control R So control plus R. So let's say control plus R takes it to the reverse engineer, and I will just come in here. So this is that's what I'm using. So next. So next. So let's say I want to, yeah, I'm interested in SQL invoice. I want to see the structure of the database. So let's click on next. Then next, import SQL table object. I don't need routine objects. I just need a table. I just need tables to execute this. So let's see the results. It's still loading. It's already drawing the schema already. So next, finish. So this is what you have. So this is something you might like to sketch out before drawing your table. Now, if you look at this very well, this is the new table I just created. So don't mind this guy. Yeah, it's just understandable. So let me zoom out. So you can see the invoices now. So for the invoicing table, we have invoices. We have detail about the invoice of the customer. We have invoice ID. We have the number of the I don't know what this number is. We have client ID, which is going to link it to the client table. So you have the client table here, as you can see here. So you have the client table first. So the client ID, the name of the client, the address, just like the customer's table. Then you have the invoice, just like the orders table in this case. So you have the details about the invoice, invoice ID, maybe the number, the client ID, so that you can relate it to the client that generated that invoice. You have the invoice total, so the total number of invoice that person generated. You can see this is a decimal. So this is size, and this is like the number of decimal places you can have. So payments total, that's the payment the person made for the invoice. The invoice date, so this is the date that the person made the invoice, the due date, where the invoice is due, the payment date. Now this clients table and the invoice table, they are linked together with the client ID. You can see you have client ID. So like just over on this link, you can see that you have client ID that is linking both of them. So I can generate the client details that generated this invoice. So now, so after the invoice system, you have the payment table. So this is going to store the information about the payments that the customer made for the invoice. So you have payment ID, the client ID. So maybe just the client that made the payment, also the invoice IDs. So I can relate it to this guy. So you have the amount the person paid, then the means of payment, that's the payment method. But in this case, this payment method here is the payment method ID, because you already have a payment method table. So this is going to be an ID. In payment method table, you have the payment method ID, then the name, that is the means of payment. Let's say maybe it's cash, maybe it's transfer. So look at the payment table, it's linked to the invoices table with the invoice table, with the invoice ID. So the payment table and the invoice table is linked with the invoice ID. Why you can even link the payment table to the client table using the client ID. So you might just need the payment table and the client table, because let's say you want to look at the information of the payment made by the client. So you just link it with the client's ID to get the client's information and the payment made. Now the payment method is linked by these two columns, which is the payment method and payment method ID. So they are being linked with these two ID. That's why this guy has the payment method here. This is an ID. Don't forget, this is an ID. So they are linked to each other by one ID, by one or two ID together. So that is one. So now let's go to our pre-edited or something. So we are going to use the clients and this SQL invoicing database as a reference now. So let me show you where we start creating the SQL invoicing database. So here started creating that. So here. So I think yeah. Hold on, I have to work on SQL store. So I also use SQL. I also use SQL store as an illustration. But let's take a look at SQL invoicing. So here, I think this one makes sense with the customers table I was making reference to in this place. So I think this one makes more sense with this here. Yeah. So let's suppose look at the SQL invoicing database. So we started creating it from where? Let me see. Is it inventory? SQL inventory. This inventory. So this SQL invoicing. Now we create what we call payment method. Now we have payment method here. Now when we create a payment method, we have payment method ID, we have the name. This is like the payment, the means of payment. Now primary key is payment method ID. Yeah. Now you can see here. You can see here that okay. Let me see again. So after we created this, we just inserted the table. Now let's look at clients table now, for example. Okay, after I created the clients table, then specify the primary key, then insert. Let's look at invoices now. Creating the invoices table. After I've created it here, then we put a key here called what? FK client key. We just created a key called FK client key, which means foreign key. So we created a key, client ID. The client ID is here, so I think this is a key. This is called FK client ID, like a description. Now constraint. Constraint is this guy. Remember, he's using client ID. Now it's saying that it's a foreign key. Foreign key is client ID, and it references the client table. So it references the client table with what? Client ID, using the client ID. And it's saying on delete restrict or on update cascade. Now, so on delete restrict is that if I should come to the client table and delete anything from the client table, come here, don't do anything to the invoices table. So it restricts any kind of delete on the invoicing on the client table from the invoices table. Now, on update cascade means anything an update on the client table, let it be updated on the invoices table. So let me do that illustration here. So let me create another notepad. The invoices table as what? Invoices table as on delete restricts and on update cascade. On this cascade. So with using a client ID, client ID. Okay, so let's go to the next table here. So payment table now. So after created payment table, primary this time and now get another key, client ID, another key, invoice ID, so another key, payment method. I told you payment method is an ID. So you have like 3 foreign keys here. So constraint is this key, which is the foreign key. So the foreign key client ID, foreign key invoice ID, foreign key payment method, which is it. So this is referencing client table. This is referencing invoice table because invoice table. So you should reference this guy. Now the reason why I'm specifying this is that client ID also occur in this table now. Client ID also occur in invoices table, but you are telling you that it's not that one you are referring to. It's referring to the client table. So on-update cascade means, as I explained the other time, if you update anything on the client table, this will be updated on the payment table also. So you can see that you have two tables that have on-update cascade, invoices and payment tables. So let me put it here. On-update cascade, payment table. Payment table also have on-update cascade, payment table. On-update cascade. We're using a client ID. So also invoices. It's referencing invoice ID from invoices table using the invoice ID on update cascade. It also means that if I should update the invoices table, anything that is related to the payment table, the invoice ID will also be updated on the payment table also. So it's also doing on update cascade on the invoice ID. So let me put it here. Also on update cascade. Invoice ID. Invoice ID. So foreign key payment method referencing payment method with using what payment method ID. If you look at it, the payment method here. Where's the payment method table? Where is it? Okay, that's person created. So using this, that. So that's one. So now the next one we're going to go to is the SQL store. But before we go there, so let's explore the things we have highlighted here. So I'll go to the clients table now and try and delete something. So so let me do this. So let's start from clients table. So let's start from clients. Now, okay. Now on clients, you have so let's try and delete this client number 5. It says you have on delete restrict on invoice table. So let's check invoices table whether client number 5 is there. That we know. So let's start from invoices. So we have client ID number 5, the invoice table. So let's try and delete that. First of all, let me remove this auto commit. Doesn't matter, sure. Sorry, query auto commit. So let me do delete from client table. Where client ID is equal to 5. So what do you have here? Cannot delete or update a parent role, a foreign key constraint field. Now the reason is that we have what I will call what. The reason you cannot do this is because of this constraint we have on the invoice table that on delete restrict. So I cannot delete anything from here. I cannot delete anything from the client table because we have already have this constraint on delete restrict on invoices table. Now let's talk about the updates now. So the updates you have here, you have on update cascade on clients, no, on the invoices table and the payments table using the client's ID. If I should update on the client's table now, first of all, let's start from invoices table. So you have client ID number 5 here, and let me go to payments table too. So let's start from payment. So in payment table, you have client ID number 5 to yes. So I'll now do updates. I'll do update table. I'll now say set client ID is equal to 5. I don't need to put this table here. So update client set client ID is equal to 5. It means that no, sorry. Yes, no. I want to. So update client table, set client ID is equal to let's say 11, where client ID is equal to 5. Okay, let me do this. So what I'm trying to do here is that wherever we have client ID is equal to 5, put it equal to 11. So let me run this. So let me do this. Let's start from client now. So you can see that client ID is now 5, is now 11 here instead of 5. Now this is going to be updated on the invoices table and payments table because of the on-update cascade. So in the invoices and payments table, whenever you have client ID to be 5, everything is going to turn to 11. As you can see here, 11. If I go to the payments table too, we have it to be 11. As you can see here, and client ID 11. Let me know whether I can do a rollback. So that is the importance of on-update cascade. Just one second. I just did a rollback so that this guy won't be affected. So that's on the on-update cascade. Now also I said on-update cascade for invoice ID. So if I should come here, also if I do a start from invoices. So if I update this particular, let's say invoice ID 6 to 11, or let me say invoice ID 19 to 21, it's going to be updated for the payments table too, because I said payment on-update cascade invoice ID. So the same thing is going to happen here also. All right. So let's go to the SQL store table. The SQL store database rather. Okay. So we have okay, this is it. So you have the product table. So SQL store has different kind of products. So this is going to have the product ID, the name of the product, the quantity in stock, as I said earlier, the unit price also. The primary key obviously is going to be product ID. So you're going to have shipper's detail, the shipper ID, the name of shipper. It's just these two. You just have a link. Now also the customer's table. So you need the customer's table because obviously it's customer will come and patronize your product. So I need the customer ID is going to be there. Then first name, last name, date of birth, phone, address, city, state. Then I don't know, points, depending on what you are into, kind of business you are into. So this is created. So all these two, they are standalone. You can see shippers information, product information, customer information are standalone. Now, other statuses. Other statuses ID, name. So the name, I don't know. Let me do a select from other statuses. I don't really know what this is about. Let's do a select from other statuses. So let me just highlight SQL Class. So other statuses. Select from other statuses. Imagine. So you have other statuses already. Name. So other status is like showing that okay, whether the order has been shipped or has been delivered or is still processed. So that's other status. So the orders now, you only have the order ID, the customer that ordered the product. So that's why you have the customer ID here. The date that the order was made, the status, comments as description of the kind of order. So the shipped date, so if it has been shipped, this is going to be put into the orders table. Then the shipper ID, so that you can know the information about the shipper that shipped the product. Now here, you have a foreign key, customer ID. You have customer ID, shipper ID. So you're going to have the foreign key shipper ID status because you need the status whether it is being processed or the deliver is shipped. And this is an ID in this case. You can see tiny it, an ID. So it's going to be relating to this guy, the other statuses. So you see the referencing here. It's going to reference the customer table. It's going to reference the other statuses in case of status. And shipper ID is going to be referencing the shippers table. Now you understand on the bit cascade already. I don't need to bother myself about that. So other items. This is going to have the other ID, the kind of product, as product ID, quantity, unit price. So you're going to have how many what you're going to have. The foreign key here is the order ID. So this one you don't have primary key in this case. So order ID and product ID because you already have order stable and you have order ID already. So this is gonna have the foreign key. So it means that this guy can take duplicates here. So on of this cascade, on of this cascade, you have this information already. Then you have a table called the SQL store. This is gonna have the notes ID. But I don't find a table called, oh, sorry, order item notes. You're gonna have note ID, order ID, product ID, the notes. So that's that about SQL stuff. So you have to know where to put the foreign key, how to reference. So the purpose of referencing is that because the particular table you are taking as a foreign key might exist in another table. So you have to reference which table are you referencing. So if a foreign key has to reference a primary key. So a foreign key has to reference a primary key. So if they are referencing a particular table, a particular ID from another table, that's the primary key. So you can see here all the reference here. Orders. Order ID is the primary key here. Product ID is the primary key in product table. So it has to be a primary key. So that's that about database design. I believe we covered everything about database design. So today's class is very short. So you don't really have much to talk about. And next week we are going to have someone to talk to us about about database management. So I'll have someone maybe on Saturday or Sunday. I'll have someone talk to us next week about database management. My mentor is has a lot of experience in this field, so he's gonna talk to us. He's gonna show us some stuff around database management. He's a database engineer. So we're gonna learn a lot next week. Uh, this cohort that is running currently is going to end next month. So next month we are ending this cohort. Another cohort is going to start maybe October. So for this cohort, we ending it next month. So as from next week, I will love everybody should be around. So it will be more exciting if you have everybody around next week. If you have any question, you can send me a mail or chat me on WhatsApp, because it's going to be an engagement session where everybody has to be engaged. So it's not like busy. You have to find time out of a busy schedule. Class is not going to hold for that particular session, because if I'm inviting someone, this is not. You just have to have the recorded session. The person just talking to himself. So it's going to be an interactive class. So I will implore us to be around for that session. So I'll communicate to us whether it's going to be on a Saturday or on a Sunday. So thanks for your time today. We'll meet again next week. Okay.